So,
well, here we are.
Here we are. God, look at you. Your career just keeps going. Another musical, another big Broadway musical.
They fell for it again.
Fell for it.
Yep.
So obviously, I mean, we've been talking for years. Jim Bakker, you've always said dream role. Dream role.
It's the only thing that makes sense. I look so much like him.
How did you end up over at Tammy Faye playing Jim Bakker?
No, there was a vacancy in the role of Jim Bakker.
Yes.
That one of my favorite actors.
Your former onstage boyfriend, Andrew Reynolds.
Still a
good
kisser.
Cute together.
We were cute together. I loved working with him, but he was set to do it, and there was a contract dispute, I think was how he put it, and so I slipped in there.
So
here I am.
did they just like went to the PBS recording of falsetto? They went to the live recording of falsettos and said, what other guy can we get?
Apparently the British team is obsessed with NBC's live musicals, so they were watching Sound of Music live on a loop, and they were like, that's our Jim Bakker. That's not what happened at all. I have a super agent named Joe Mahoda, who he jumped on it, and he duped them and convinced them that I was the right person for the role. And now they're stuck with me, and they cannot stand my nasal voice. The Brits call me Christian. I love it. So it's going great.
But I have to ask immediately, so is Jim Bakker more of a Marvin or a whizzer?
Oh, he's a total Marvin, who thinks he's a whizzer, and that's the problem. And that's how he gets into trouble. I think that's really apt, though. That's true.
Uh-huh.
He's got major insecurity issues. I haven't done a lot of research. I'm just following where the book. They wrote such a great book. James Graham is so smart. I've watched videos of Jim Bakker, but like I'm not doing an impersonation of him because I think we're doing our own take on the story. Like it's its own version of real life events.
Right.
So I'm just playing the part that they wrote as opposed to trying to do an imitation.
So how do you look at him? I mean, and you've played nice guys, bad guys, crazy guys, funny guys. You've done a lot of different.
Using the same voice and faces for all of them. No, a lot of actors are like, I can't see my character as a villain. I have to find out. I don't care. He's a villain, and it's fun to play a villain. No, but he is. It's a very specific type of bad behavior. In general, tends to come from insecurity.
Yeah,
it's easy to excuse bad behavior because we're all insecure fundamentally. But I think when they got in front of the TV cameras and he realized that he didn't have it and that she was the superstar, I think that sent him down a rabbit hole trying to find his own sense of self-worth, and that's kind of where all this huge like theme park idea, Heritage USA, came from. He was like claiming a stake in all of this. I think he was looked down on by all the other televangelists, and there's a lot in this about that. It's so funny, and it's really political in a great way. And it delves so deeply into faith in a really earnest way on behalf of Tammy Faye, because there's a lot of reverence in the show for Tammy Faye as a person, because she was a beautiful human being.
We've seen this story told in a lot of different ways, right? I mean, in the news, some great films, documentary film, and a narrative film, and now it's a musical.
Yep.
And it's interesting to see what stories, make that translation. Why do you think this one works as a musical?
I'm fascinated. I cannot wait for people to see it, because I think when you think Tammy Faye the musical, everyone has a particular idea of what that's going to feel like.
Sure.
And they did it across the pond, and there's a British sensibility to it that kind of cuts against the sentimentality, the potential sentimentality of it. And so it's got like, I sound like such an actor, but it's got like muscle to it, and it just, once it starts, it flows so cinematically, and I think the set is going to surprise people. The physical production is gorgeous, and it's almost like out of a Stanley Kubrick movie, and the songs are really, really kick-ass Elton John songs. There's a song that we're putting in that they didn't have time to put in over there that I get to sing, that I'm just like, I can't believe they played this song for me, and I was like, this is a new Elton John song.
I was going to say, there's some hot new songwriters in this show. We're dealing with.
Oh, good. And the lyrics by Jake Shears are so smart and just like to the point. And they we come at the story from like a very different perspective than I think one would expect. I can't wait to unleash it.
Had you ever met Elton John prior to this project?
No, but I met him about a month or two ago.
What was that like?
It was surreal. They were like, come and meet him at the Bakker Hotel. And his bodyguard, Jimmy, will meet you downstairs and take you up to the suite. So it was like, oh, that's gotta be Jimmy. And we went upstairs and in this like suite.
Sure.
And David Furnish's husband came out and was so warm to me. Because you know, Elton John has a million other things to do than to meet me, like the actor coming into the musical that he wrote. But he was so gracious, he smelled terrific, and he was very kind.
Tell me about Katie Brayben. She's a, I mean, two-time Olivier Award winner. You're a two-time Tony winner. This is British and American royalty coming together.
Instant like brother-sister relationship with Katie. Because when I was reading the script and listening to the score, and just seeing what is required of her as Tammy Faye, it's one of those like jaw-droppingly huge roles. And she just makes it seem like it's nothing. And she's killing it. And she's really just like a truth machine. So it's very fun to act with her. And her Tammy Faye is really, really a glorious creation.
What's the biggest thing you had to learn to do this? I know there's some puppetry.
There's light puppetry, but you know, I learned a lot from my puppet pals at Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, right,
I understand the gravity of it, the breadth of it. And it's really about pushing rather than just flapping.
Okay.
And they breathe and they have to, you know.
Okay.
I don't think Jim Bakker was necessarily a great puppeteer, so I don't think it has to be that intricate.
Jim Bakker's a bit of a con man. Did you ever to con your way into like an audition, or is there any of that in you?
No, I feel too guilty about lying. I've lied, but I felt terrible about it.
Yeah.
No, nothing, no great tale comes to mind. But I'll email you. I'll follow up if I think, or I'll just send you a little. Because I'm so into filming myself these days.
Are you?
Well, I've gotten really hardcore into social media, and so I just set up my own little ring light studio, and I just talk at my camera, and just publish, like just content. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I actually think it's really good for the fabric of society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been loving it. We'll do a collab.
Is that short for?
We'll collab.
You'll get a notification. We'll collab.
Is that a thing though? A collab?
Yeah, we'll collab.
I love your career. I mean, what you've been able to do.
Me too.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Do you have moments where you kind of go, holy crap, like look at me, look at what I'm doing?
When Some Like It Hot ended at the end of December, and I didn't have anything in the pipeline, like no readings, no workshops, because you know, Some Like It Hot we worked on for 5 years, in COVID in the middle. And so I went through that thing that, you know, insecurity came in again, and I didn't know what would be next or if anything would be next. And I'm not an idiot. I mean, I think like I've worked enough and people know me enough that it's not like I was never going to work again. But in those like months of just like, I hope something comes along, and then this just has been a gift. And it's a fascinating, exciting role in a way that it's not something that I've done before.